G'day, legends. We're back, down under in Perth, Western Australia. UFC Fight Night, Ulberg versus Reyes, live from Rack Arena. The card is stacked with action, packed with Aussie pride, and you know the atmosphere's gonna be electric. Australia, home to the Road Warrior.
A man haunted by the demons of his past. A man who wandered out into the wasteland.
Sports where blokes don't bother with padding.
Do they do something? Moses' side, it is Moses, and then Sam Luddy for Parramatta, what a moment!
And everyday citizens fight crime in their undies.
All I had was my undies on and I've walked out the front and I've seen the car smashed and I've seen the bloke walking back to the car. And so I've walked outside and I said, "Oh, what are you doing, mate? Like, you can't be leaving the scene." And he goes, "Don't be a hero, mate." And I said, "I'm not trying to be a hero, but the police are coming." And he just decided he'd scoot up the road and I just said, "Nah, it's not going on like that, mate." So I jumped in my car and I started chasing him up the road, and then he went down a side street and then the police were coming and I flashed them and sent them off in the direction of him. But, mate, all I had was me jocks on.
Now, Daniel, you managed to put some pants on in the meantime.
Yeah, mate.
It's good to hear.
And of course, home to the one and only Husky herself. In the main event, Carlos Ulberg looks to keep the momentum rolling against the always dangerous Dominic Reyes. Striker versus striker, power versus precision. Someone's getting put to sleep. So grab a snag off the barbie, crack open a cold one, and let's talk fights. Just watch out for those damn drop bears on the way in. She'll be right, mate. Kicking off the card in the women's strawweight division, we have Loma Lookboonmee versus Alexander Thainara. Loma needs to keep the fight standing and make it dirty in the clinch. Luna's Muay Thai is her biggest weapon. Short elbows, knees, and constant pressure against the fence. If she can stuff takedowns and wear on Alexia in close quarters, she'll slowly take over and outpoint her on the feet. Alexia wants the fight on the mat. Her clearest path is closing the distance, getting takedowns, and chaining her grappling until she finds a dominant position. Once she's on top, her submission game is slick and she'll be hunting for this finish. Alexia's grappling feels like the difference maker in this one, and I'm going to go with her winning by decision. Heavyweight division, we have Brando Pericic versus Ellison. If Brando comes out aggressive and forces Ellison into defensive shell and lets his hands go, he can end things quickly. Instead of just loading up on a single punch, chaining heavy hooks and overhands together makes it much harder for Ellison to escape the early barrage. If Brando cuts the cage and doesn't let Ellison circle out, he can trap him against the fence and unload. Ellison's best path is surviving that dangerous opening round. If he stays defensively sound, clinches when needed, and avoids big exchanges, the fight tilts his way later on. He'll need to use sharp straight punches and footwork to frustrate Brando, keeping him swinging at air and burning gas. If he makes Brando miss and stretches this fight, Eliza's composure and cardio could play dividends. This feels like a heavyweight classic where you've got raw power versus patience. Ellison has tools to turn it later, but I think Brando's intensity out of the gate is too much. Give me Brando by knockout. In the women's bantamweight division, we have Lorna Caroline versus Michelle Montague. Lorna is tall and rangy. She'll need to use her jab and straight kicks to keep Michelle at distance. If she touches Michelle often enough without overcommitting, she can rack up points and frustrate her. Staying off the fence and avoiding prolonged clinches will be key. If she keeps this standing in open space, she shines. Michelle's bread and butter is closing the distance, clinching, and dragging opponents down. Once she's on top, she's heavy and suffocating. Even on the feet, forward movement can back Caroline up and take away her long-range weapons. If the first shot doesn't work, Michelle's persistence can eventually wear Carolina down and get the fight where she wants it. This looks like a classic striker versus grappler matchup. Caroline's path is to keep it long and clean. Montague is to grind it out and dominate physically. Over 3 rounds, I see Montague finding her way inside enough times to impose herself. Give me Michelle Montague by submission. In the bantamweight division, we have Cody Thicknesse taking on Josias Musasa. If he shoots early and often, Musasa will be stuck defending takedowns instead of throwing bombs. Once on the mat, Cody's best path is heavy top pressure, floating to dominant positions and staying patient. Whether it's a choke after softening Musasa up or an arm trap finish, Cody has the skill sets to capitalize once it hits the floor. Musasa needs to make Cody pay for level changes with big shots and knees up the middle. If he can sprawl, circle, and deny the mat game, his power edge becomes dangerous. Musasa's best chance is landing something fight-ending before Colby chains his grappling together. If Colby leans on his wrestling and doesn't get caught early, the fight tilts heavily in his favour. Once he grounds Musasa, it's a matter of time before he finds the finish. Give me Cody Thicknesse by submission. In the lightweight division, we have Jamie Mullarkey taking on Rolando Bedoya. Instead of just brawling wild, if Jamie applies steady forward pressure with smart combinations, he can outwork Bedoya over 3 rounds. Shooting for takedowns, clinch work, and dirty boxing keep Bedoya uncomfortable and stop him from finding rhythm. Mullarkey's toughness and pace can push Bedoya backwards, forcing him to fight off heels and keeping Jamie ahead on the scorecards. Rolando's best chance is staying sharp at range and picking off Jamie when he rushes in. Timing Jamie's entries with counters could be an equaliser. He'll need to avoid being struck on the fence or underneath. He can edge rounds with precision striking. While Bedoya has the sharper boxing, Jamie's pressure, grit, and ability to make fights ugly is the difference. Over 3 rounds, his volume, clinch work, and work rate should sway the judges, especially in Australia. Give me Jamie Mullarkey by decision.
Aussie, Aussie, Aussie! Aussie, Aussie, Aussie!
In the featherweight division, we have Jonathan Micallef versus Oban Elliott. If Jonathan keeps it standing and turns this into a technical striking fight, Jonathan uses his jab, footwork, and timing to stuff Elliott's entries, landing the cleaner shots each round. By denying extended grappling exchanges, he controls the pace and outpoints Elliott over 3 rounds. Oban, he needs to keep it messy, push forward with constant pressure, mix in wrestling, and focus clinch battles. If he can drag Jonathan down and rack up control time, he grinds out the decision. Jonathan defends well enough, keeps separation, and wins the exchanges on the feet. Give me Jonathan by decision. In the bantamweight division, we have Andre Petroski taking on Cam Rowston. Andre, instead of hunting a risky submission, he can focus on takedowns, top control, and keeping Rowston on the defensive. Petroski can push forward, dictate the pace, and force Rowston to fight off his pressure throughout the rounds. By staying patient and methodical, landing strikes from top position and controlling where the fight goes, he can rack up rounds on the judges' scorecards. Cam's best chance is to stay standing and land crisp shots while avoiding being taken down. Footwork and timing counters on Petroski's entries can keep him competitive in the striking exchanges. Avoid extended periods on the mat to prevent Petroski from controlling the fight and winning rounds. Petroski's wrestling and grind-heavy style can dominate the fight without needing a finish. Over 3 rounds, his control and consistent pressure should be enough to sway the judges. Give me Andre Petroski by decision.
And they could never tear us apart.
In the light heavyweight division, we have Navajod Stirling taking on Rodolfo Bellato. Stirling will want to keep it standing. If he can stuff Bellato's takedowns and avoid extended grappling, his power remains the biggest threat. Instead of blowing all his energy early, conserving it for later rounds gives him the chance to land big when Bellato slows. By round 3, if Bellato been worn down, Stirling's heavy hands can find the chin and end it. Bellato's best path is dragging Stirling down and keeping him stuck under pressure. He needs to chain takedowns even if the first shot fails. Persistence could pay off. He'll want to grind with cardio and make Stirling work defensively if he can drain his energy and control rounds. Bellato's grappling will test Stirling, but Navajod keeps the fight standing long enough, his power becomes the equalizer. By the later stages, he can capitalize on openings. Give me Navajod Stirling by knockout. In the lightweight division, we have Tom Nolan taking on Charlie Campbell. Tom, with his length, can manage distance with deep kicks, jabs, and straight shots. If Campbell rushes in aggressively, Nolan can pick him off with sharp counters. By staying composed and not brawling, he can slowly break Campbell down from the outside. Campbell shines when he pushes the pace and forces exchanges. He throws with heavy intent, and one clean connection can swing the fight. His clinch and dirty boxing is essential. If he gets Nolan against the fence, his aggression could overwhelm him. Campbell is dangerous, but if Nolan stays disciplined and uses his length, he can control the tempo over the course of 3 rounds, and that should be enough to sway the judges. Give me Tom Nolan by decision. In the heavyweight division, we have Louise Sutherland taking on Justin Tafa. Louise has a speed advantage, and if he stays sharp and lets his hands go first, he can consistently beat Tafa to the punch. Circling away from Tafa's power side and using angles to frustrate him and limit clean opportunities. By mixing jabs, low kicks, and combinations, Sutherland can rack up points while avoiding the big bomb. For Tafa, it's one-punch power. His clearest path is landing the big left hand in an exchange. He'll want forward pressure. By backing Sutherland up, he can trap him and increase the odds of a firefight. He'll need to use dirty boxing. If he closes the distance, he can land short hooks, uppercuts that change the fight quickly. Tafa is always dangerous early, but if Louise plays it smart, he has the speed and movement to stay safe and score over 3 rounds, and activity should be enough to get the nod. Give me Louise Sutherland by decision.
Just because I'm weak as this, it doesn't mean I deserve this. I hate to change, but always this is not my fault. I'm weak as this.
In the featherweight division, we have Jake Matthews taking on Neil Magny. Jake tends to push the pace and close the distance, mixing combos with kicks to wear his opponent down. He'll want to control it in the clinch. He can use tight clinch work to land knees and set up takedowns. If he goes to the mat, Jake is dangerous with submissions, especially chokes and arm bars. By consistently attacking, he can force Neil to fight on his back foot and potentially causing mistakes. Neil's long reach allows him to keep Matthews at range, using jabs and kicks to score and frustrate him. Magdy can use takedowns to slow Jake's pace and control the fight. Neil can outlast Matthews in later round battles, keeping his energy high to pick up rounds. And he can win rounds by landing consistently without overcommitting. I lean Jake Matthews. He has the style to push the pace and win rounds on the feet, while being a threat on the ground if needed, but it's likely a close competitive fight. Give me Jake Matthews by decision. In the featherweight division, we have Jack Jenkins taking on Ramon Travares. Jack likes to push forward, forcing opponents to react under pressure. He mixes punches and kicks to break rhythm and open up opportunities. He can use his short-range grappling to land knees or attempt takedowns. Jake looks for openings to finish the fight, either on the feet or the mat. Roman can use his reach and movement to keep Jenkins at bay. Waiting for Jenkins to overcommit allows Roman to land precise counters. Roman can drag the fight into later rounds if he stays composed and potentially taking rounds with volume and accuracy. He can avoid being taken down, and he can control where the fight happens. I lean Jenkins. I see him being able to impose his style over the course of the fight, forces Ramon to react rather than dictate the action. Give me Jack Jenkins by decision.
Let's play shadow in my face. Pressure in my day.
In the light heavyweight division, we have Jimmy Crute taking on Ivan Eslon. Jimmy uses pressure striking to force Aslan on the back foot, and he'll mix in punches and kicks to create openings and break rhythm. He'll use his clinch and takedown setups to control the fight, and once on the ground, he can threaten for submissions to finish. Ivan will want to keep distance with footwork and long-range striking, landing precise counters when Crute overcommits, and using cardio and pacing to outlast Crute in the later rounds, defending takedowns effectively to keep the fight standing. I see Jimmy Crute closing the distance, mixing striking and takedown threats, and ultimately finishing on the ground. Give me Jimmy Crute by submission. And in the main event of the light heavyweight division, we have Carlos Ulberg taking on Dominic Reyes. Ulberg pushes forward, keeping Reyes on the back foot and dictating pace. He mixes in strikes and kicks and uses combination leg kicks to break Reyes' rhythm and create openings. He'll use his clinch and knees and control closed range and land damage with knees and short strikes. If it goes to the mat, Ulberg has submission skills to finish. Dominic will need to use his distance and counters to land clean shots while avoiding Ulberg's forward pressure. He'll need to manage the pace to last later rounds, defend takedowns, and keep the fight standing. I see Carlos imposing his pressure early, breaking through Reyes' defense, and finishing with strikes. Give me Carlos Ulberg by knockout.